Hi, I'm Natasha Morgan. I'm in the innovation team at Alzheimer Society, and we're the largest dementia charity in the UK. I wanted to speak to you today about Community Makers, which is a partnership project between the Alzheimer Society, Helix Centre working within the UK DRI, Imperial College London, and the Association for Dementia Studies at the University of Worcester. So in spring 2020, as COVID-19 was taking hold, we came together in an effort to address the social isolation that people affected by dementia were experiencing. So we really wanted to harness technology to help people feel less isolated and better supported across the UK. We adopted an innovation approach, which meant we worked quickly and we tested, learned and iterated as we went. So we all know that the onset of the pandemic was devastating for people with dementia. Primarily, there was huge issues with going into lockdown and losing the access to community support that was so valuable for people's lives. This was compounded by people being less familiar with the technology available to them and less able and less willing to use it. And we know that this was something that both people affected by dementia struggled with and also people providing services to them. So we set out to equip community group leads or community makers with the skills and the know-how that they needed to move their support groups online. So we set up an initial working group and co-produced 3 resources. The first was an online toolkit, which is a website where people could share their experiences of delivering community groups. There's a bank of ideas and inspirations for different kind of online activities. There were guides to software and devices that are best to use in different circumstances, and also a checklist of practical things to consider when you're setting up a group. We then set up an online forum for our group of community makers to come together and talk informally about the challenges and solutions that they were coming up with. It didn't really take off as it just didn't fit the way that people were working. So instead we moved to a monthly meeting on Zoom, which worked really well. And there was a case study presentation and then just open discussion for people to discuss whatever they wanted to. So in the end, we had 85 members from across the UK. They're a mixture of local small organisations and national ones running programmes across the country. As the status of the pandemic shifted, so did the role of community makers. And increasingly, they were working in a hybrid world where the challenge was working out how to deliver solutions both online and in person. And along with this came an emerging role for them in helping isolated people to use technology and reducing the digital exclusion that people were experiencing. So from the project overall emerged 4 key principles, which we feel should be considered on an individual basis when supporting someone living with dementia to set up a meaningful connection. These are firstly relationships. This is the importance of establishing trust between the person using the technology and the person supporting them to use it. Purpose, which is having a strong and clear reason to overcome barriers which someone might perceive to accessing technology. Then the technology must suit the individual, both being really flexible, being usable, and having a clear alignment with their purpose. And finally, community. Being connected with the group fosters a sense of community, a sense of belonging, which then feeds into relationship building and a sense of purpose. So overall, the response of community makers to the pandemic has shown the value of technology for connecting people previously unused to online world. We hope that the legacy of the project will continue beyond the pandemic to prevent social isolation for people with dementia. So please do check out the toolkit and you can get in touch with me for any questions. And my colleague, Matt Harrison, is presenting more on those 4 principles in a session in section P01 of the conference. Thank you.